Hey y'all, it's your girl Nadia.
And it's me, Coach T.
And we are two average people.
Yes, we are.
I hope you've been checking out our latest videos. Please check them out. We are so excited with all the content that we have.
Yeah, you can check the latest one that we posted right here. You can check it
Yes.
out. Check it out for yourself. Yeah.
Today we have another reaction video for you today. So
And for this one, we're going to go to our own TikTok account. If you're not following us on TikTok, please make sure you do. You might be missing out on all this goodness here. Let's just jump right here into the reaction.
let's do it.
A group of white girls who are sitting at their graduation engaged. And the question came up, well, why is there not the reality for black women? I know y'all not gonna like what I gotta say, but you know me, I'm gonna say it anyways. First and foremost, black women are above reproach. If it don't validate us or excuse our bad behavior, we don't want to hear it. Instead, we'll say, well, men do it too. Secondly, we'll find every excuse in the world to validate why we don't want to be married or why we don't want to be in a relationship. Well, they get cheated on. Well, they do this. Well, they do that. But then we have all these standards for men, and we're still actively seeking for men in the midst of our hurt while inadvertently telling them to go to therapy. We do not practice what we preach. Thirdly, the independent woman is a myth. Actually cared about being independent and it was something that made you happy, you would not have all these standards to negate your independence. Nobody wants to relinquish power. You'll find every excuse in the world to not be submissive and wonder why white women can get away with their bad behavior. We take everything bad from white women except for the fact using marriage to our own benefit. But you'll run to the child support office though. Argue equality against men, and the only time we actually want to be equal to men is when it comes to degenerate behavior, hypersexuality, abusing or abandoning children. Even when it comes to the gold digger conversation, what you don't see those other women do, even when they are just screwing men for money, is bashing men, inadvertently making men feel like they're not important. Also, too, telling them that they don't need men. Psychologically, we have been taught to disassociate ourselves, and even in that Malcolm X quote where he says the black woman is the most disrespected, he also says to be near your man. Because who taught you to hate the very race that you're supposed to be with?
Wow.
Wow. All
I
right.
don't think she took one breath when she said what she had to say. So clearly,
All right. She said what
she's
she
very
said.
passionate about this.
She feels strongly.
She feels
I
strongly
respect
about it. I am curious from a man's perspective. I want to start with you, babe. What are your thoughts on something like that?
Okay. Well, first and foremost.
Clearly very controversial.
It's definitely look. It's popping on our page. It got some views and a lot of reactions, a lot of comments being left, people saving it in their stuff. So I'm just saying it's a hot topic. But I will say this first and foremost before I give my answer. I am not in a relationship like this. I have been in relationships like the one she describes, and all of my male friends have as well. Not all of them are still, but all of them have. So, because sometimes when men talk about these types of issues, we get questions like, who hurt you? You must be insecure just because we've been through some stuff. Okay, so let's just get that out the way super early. I'm not in that situation right now. I am not talking about her when I respond to this. But
Thank you for clarifying that.
sure, because yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't hear anything she said in there that was so completely off. Now, I don't think what she said applies to every black woman, but I do believe that our society rewards that type of thought process, and overwhelmingly our sisters are the ones with that thought process. It's not only, so I'm not just talking about that, but I will say it's kind of hard to deny because from what I can tell and from what I've experienced and from what I'm watching my friends go through, yeah, that's the case a lot of the time. And again, it is not everyone, and it's just that because it's so many, the ones who are not that way stand out. And that's why so many men encourage in that direction. The problem is we also reward behavior in the other direction too. So we have to check ourselves with that. But I didn't necessarily hear anything that she said that was so off.
I mean, I agree with the fact that not every woman is that way, right? However, I find a lot of time that when I'm talking to some of my single friends or single women, I find there is a lot of what she's saying. We use that as it's like a defense mechanism. And so you'll hear women say, well, I'm not going to find a man unless he has ... what she had mentioned in the clip. You'll also hear women say, well, I don't really need a man. I'm fine. I'm beautiful. I'm independent. I'm a boss chick.
Ugh.
But those same women will then turn around 2 months later and be dating this guy that's not worth nothing. So, so I'm like, wait. 2 months
Right.
ago, you were telling me you don't need a dude,
That
but you're
part.
holding on to this dude that's treating you like crap. Like, what? And so my experience has been that women put up a lot of use those excuses as a defense mechanism because they either don't want to deal with their shit or they want to comfort themselves in the process that they actually might be hurting that they're single, but they use that as a comfort blanket to say, okay, well, I'm not single because I'm just single. I'm single because it's something wrong with you. It's been my experience.
Can I challenge your experience just a little bit?
Go for it. I love a challenge.
All right, cool. Because one thing that you said that I hear is that you say this that women will say these things to themselves, right? But my experience is they don't just say it to themselves. They say it out loud.
That's
they say it
true.
on podcasts. They say it on the Instagram. They say it pretty much everywhere they can go say it.
Yes.
That kind of now leaves. So now if I'm a decent guy and I'm looking for a decent girl, you're not the one I'm checking for because you. The same when a woman says to a man who hurt you is exactly what a man is thinking in that moment, but he's not gonna say who hurt you because that's not a thing we do. We're just gonna look at you strange and go, we're gonna split the check. Yeah, thanks. That's real.
Yeah. Okay. I can handle real.
That's real.
I can handle real.
And that's the thing. Guys can handle real. So,
Okay.
so the question becomes, in a conversation like that, are we going to be?
You say that to imply that girls can't?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm saying that just off the old statement, just like the previous statement. Sometimes women don't say that statement to themselves. What you spoke on, they don't say to themselves. They say out loud.
Right, but they say it out loud with the belief of all the things that I spoke of.
I understand, but what I'm talking about is the result of saying it out loud.
Right, I got you.
The external result.
Got
that one
you.
that's outside of just inside of you.
And I don't think they all are always thinking about that.
Yes, but the problem is it's always there.
It is always there. It's the tough exterior that they put on, not to pierce the soft inside.
I understand, but
you're right. That has a result.
That tough exterior on the outside appears like an iron giant coming out in full knight's armor, and I'm sitting there in my nice suit at a restaurant, and I'm looking at you like, what the hell is wrong with you? And you're sitting down with your mace at the table like, I will bust your whole head open. And I'm supposed to do what?
Approach me.
No. No. 1, 2, 3, not it. It's not going down. I'm going to go, You going to finish your fries? Yeah.
But if you're really interested, then you'll do the work.
No.
This is the
you won't.
mentality.
No, you won't.
This is the
Because if
mentality.
you're really interested and you're really that dude who's about that life, I'm just going to move on to the next one. In the same way, like if you a 10 and you a baddie and everything else, you just going to move on to the next one. That's how that works. It works exactly the same way on both ends. And so if I present myself negatively to you as a woman on a date, why would you then pursue it? For you, you might go, no, he gave me a creep vibes. I'm gonna move on.
Yes, but the person who's presenting negatively is not seeing themselves as presenting negatively. That's the problem.
I think that is a problem.
And I think a lot of times what is perceived negatively by black women is what we are taught as strength and independence and resilience and all of those things. And because we are taught that, that's how we present. And to you guys, that looks differently.
Yes.
Now, I'm speaking, again, this is not for all women, but from what I know and just talking to other women, I understand both sides of this. But I'm speaking on behalf of the people that I've talked to and how I know black women are and women in general. So that's what we're taught. And so what I think the disconnect is that what we're taught as resilience and strength and beauty and independence is not necessarily what you perceive as those things as a man. And I think that's sometimes where the disconnect is happening.
That just sounds to me like you said what you didn't mean to say, and now I'm supposed to interpret it, which maybe, but more likely maybe not.
I wouldn't put it that way. It's more so that we don't, I think as men and women, we don't always know. We know what to do. We don't always know how the other side will receive what we do.
I don't know what you mean by that. Please explain.
So, like, if I walk out the house and I'm showing cleavage and I clearly have on a very, very sexy outfit, right? To me, it's my 40th birthday. I'm trying to look good. I'm feeling good. I'm going to go out wearing whatever I want. To you, as a man, you're going to perceive it as, oh, she's trying to have sex. Or I'm trying to have sex with her. Maybe. Right?
I mean, if titties are out, I'm looking. So, hey.
What are you going to perceive from that woman? I don't know that what you perceive from that woman was necessarily what she was trying to put out.
Yes.
When she walked out the house.
Here's the problem with that, right? That sounds like, and I'm going to sound real harsh here for a second, okay? But I got to call it like I see it. That sounds like excuses. That sounds like I don't accept responsibility for my own actions. That says I do whatever I want until the consequences come and now somebody help me. That's what that sounds like to me.
But I'm 40. I'm going to do whatever I want.
I got that. However, again, if you do whatever you want, you also have to accept the consequences for whatever you did. It both come together.
I hear what you're saying, but that's why I'm saying that's the disconnect. Because the consequences that we think we're going to get aren't, or we don't think about the consequences at all, are not going to be the actual consequences we're thinking about. Like, we're not going to say, oh, let me put, well, maybe some women, right? Some women. I'm not saying this is not,
this is not everybody.
This is everybody.
This is not everybody.
But this woman who really wants to look sexy didn't think anything was wrong with what she was wearing when she walked out the house, right? However, all the guys are looking at her like, oh, she's not going to necessarily be wifey. Necessarily, maybe.
Yeah.
They're probably more looking at her from a different lens. But that is not necessarily, hey, I'm just going to wear this outfit so I can see how many guys want to have sex with me. Like,
no.
That is not how...
No, not necessarily. But a lot of time what women will do is lie about the fact that what they did dress as was to get attention. Now, that attention might not have been for sex specifically. But the attention that you're going to get by having your boobs out is probably sexual attention, and acting blind to that feels wrong. It feels like you're doing it on purpose, and then going, "Oh, golly gee, I didn't know." Well, you didn't know that if you walk around with your titties out, you want me to believe that, and then you cry, and then you go, "Oh," and then we're evil if we don't go, "Oh," but the truth is. You knew a little bit, right? Right? You knew, you just didn't care or didn't care about the results or feel like the results didn't apply. But then when they do, it's also somebody else's fault. It's awkward. It leads you to a place of not knowing which way to go. And as a man, you would not respect a man who stuck around through that with you and gave you everything you want through it. Eventually, that man is going to look like a pushover. He's going to feel like am I wrong?
No.
So,
wrong.
So at the end of the day, you might be able to get a man by doing that, but you might not be able to get the man that you would respect in the process. And the man that you would respect in the process doesn't want to have to contend with those types of issues. Mm-hmm. So if he doesn't want to contend with those types of issues and you're not going to be able to use that bait to get a man that you can respect, it leaves you in a state of limbo because the rest of the world is going to move on.
I hear you. And that brings me to the point. That's the disconnect that I think that we have. Because everything, okay, we like to believe that you should do some things for yourself. Like, I get my toes done with my, that's for me.
Yeah.
That's not because I'm be like, ooh, my husband about to suck on these toes later. I mean.
Hot take!
I mean, if that's your thing, I'm not knocking you. If you like sucking toes,
I mean,
that's that's your thing.
Hey,
but that's something I do for me per se. But a lot of what we do to ourselves, putting on makeup, getting our hair done, getting your hair cut, wearing cologne, is for the other sex.
Come on, like what are we saying?
Whether
I do this
you're
for
married
me.
or
No,
not.
you don't. You do it. Maybe it does help. It feels good to me when I'm dressed up good and I got my drip nice.
And then you got cologne on. I just told him yesterday, I was like, "Oh, baby, you smell good." And he's like, "Oh, what I smell like?" I'm like,
"Let's go."
I mean, I can tell. You know what I'm saying? Like,
let's go. But let's be real. There is a big part of smelling good that is for my wife. So when I'm sitting next to her, she goes, Like there's something to that.
Right.
Like so, acting like it's not
acting
is
like we don't do something for the
super
other
high school.
sex
It's like what
is-
I'm supposed to sit down and have a real conversation. You're not even speaking reality.
Right.
So now I'm supposed to have a real. No, check please.
Right. Right. So
Split.
acting like we just don't do anything to attract the other opposite sex or whatever who you're attracting is. I think that's a lie. You're lying to yourself.
It's super weird, man.
There are things you do for yourself,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
obviously there are things that you do because, especially as a single person, because you want to be, or even when you're married. Mm-hmm. Because
Yes.
I make sure that when I'm going out, with him, I try to look. Obviously, I'm not gonna put on makeup all the time, but I try to make sure to present well. Mm-hmm. Because we still need to be attracted to each other.
Factuals.
That's important. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to digress, but the point is, to answer your question, I think there's a disconnect about how we, like, if you say, "Hey, yo, girl, come over here,"
Right.
like in your mind, you're
chunk of
like,
the time.
"I just wanted to talk to her," but in our mind, we're like, "Who you think you're talking to?" Like, you know what I'm saying? There's that disconnect sometimes in what we're doing, what we're saying, how it's going to be received by the other person, but we also don't want to take accountability for the fact that what we did and said was off-putting to the other side. No,
side.
something's wrong with you.
Right.
Because
you see,
I am 40 and I say what I want, and you didn't like it, so something's wrong with you.
And this is where Tobari goes. Anyway,
that's the problem.
Anyway, guys.
Gosh, we can talk about this all day, y'all.
Yo, we love doing these reaction videos. Make sure you check out the page. Here goes another video you can just check out because we recommended it to you. But until then, we just want to make sure you like the video. What else? Oh, if you feel like we got something out of this, please subscribe. It will do us a good service, and we appreciate it. And make sure the algorithm gods really appreciate what we do so that you can get more of this, And
let us know your thoughts on this video because, like I said, we could talk about this forever, y'all, but we got to go.
Factuals.
But let us know your thoughts on this video. What do you think? Is there some truth to what she's saying, or is she totally off?
Yeah, the link for this video will be on our TikTok, and I'll link that down below in the description as well.
All right, y'all. Until next time, remember, we're better
together.